Hi folks, my name is Mitch and today I'm going to be making my three sauce noodles. This is a dish that I'm more, I guess, known for amongst my friends. And yeah, so just want, sorry, hi. The camera is at a pretty interesting angle so you guys can kind of witness the magic that's going on. A little history about how I came up with this recipe. This was actually more of an accident. I was trying to make pad see ew, which is a Thai dish, and I failed completely on that dish. But as I kept attempting to try to make that dish, things changed over time, and eventually I gave up on it, and I like the way this thing came out. So this is not a pad see ew related dish. This is just three sauces, and the sauces that I'm going to be using today is oyster sauce. I have hoisin sauce, and I have sweet soy sauce. There's no real measurement on how you're supposed to, you know, pour in the sauces and everything. I kind of play it by ear. I play it by taste. I can't tell you if it's a cup of this or if it's a teaspoon of that. So it's more based on your own preference. I'm actually cooking for a small army-ish in the sense. So just kind of keep in mind that you can definitely limit the amount of ingredients that you use. So I start off with a little bit of oil. You don't need too much. And the reason why, you know, depending on the meat that you use, the cuts of meat that I'm using today this is pork belly, sliced pork belly. Got this from the Asian market next door. And same thing with this one. This one is actually beef short ribs. As you can tell, they have a lot of marbling, a lot of fat content. So that's where we're going to be getting the majority of our oil. And this little oil in here is to kind of get things started. I have 2 chopped up onions in here. I normally use 1. Again, you don't need this much. 1 onion is perfectly fine, but I'm cooking for a lot of people. And I plan to have leftovers. The noodle that I'm currently using, this is called Three Sauce Noodles, by the way. It's Japanese noodles. It's an udon noodle. It's not your traditional thicker pumper one. It's more of a flatter one. So this is the brand that I use. You can use anything else, but frankly, this is the only one I've used, and I like how how it turns out. So it's been pretty consistent with me. They come in these great, nice little bundles, and each bundle is measured about, I would say, enough for 2 people. So I have about 4.5 bundles in there. 1 to 2 people. Evelyn and I, we normally eat about, I think, one bundle, 1.5 bundle, depending on, you know, what dish we're using these noodles with. And they're good overall in general. You can use them anywhere, in any dish. So got the oil heated up. Starting off with garlic. I'm using a lot of garlic here. This is half a bulb of garlic. It's finely chopped, or as fine as I can possibly get it. And this is a 12-inch wok. Once I put everything in, you can kind of see how crazy it can get. And once the garlic heats up just a little bit, just toss in the onions. What I did with the onions is that these onions have a little film on the back of each layer of onion. I guess it's to protect the layers from sticking to one another, but I went ahead and removed each one of those layers. I find that when you cook with it, if it's left on, it gives a Not so pleasant, papery taste. So here is what I'm talking about. I did miss some. So you can see that there. I just whipped up all in here. My wok is already half filled, but that's going to be okay because the onions will shrink. And the noodles are clumping up here. A little bit. So you're just going to let that go for a little bit. Once the onions start getting softer, start turning clear, and then you can add in the next set of veggies. Okay, looks like it's good. So the vegetable that I'm going to be adding is baby bok choy. They're already washed and cut. And again, everything will shrink. You can add in your own veggies, whatever you want. Sometimes I add tofu. If you're going to be using tofu, try to get the extra firm if possible. If not, the firm is perfectly fine as well. I'm going to wash this one. And now the wok is completely full, but that's okay because the bok choy will also shrink down as well. Right, the timer indicates that the noodles are done. So I'm gonna drain it and then give it a cold bath. Okay. The reason for the cold bath is just to stop the noodles from cooking any further, and it'll help with the or minimize the sticking of the noodles to each other. Turn up the fire now. Okay, now it's time to start adding in the meat. What I try to do is try to keep the meat separated as much as possible, just so it doesn't clump up in one specific spot. It's easier to mix as well. When I'm cooking smaller batches, I normally use about half a pound to a pound of meat. And again, it just depends on whatever you feel like, but I find that the thinly sliced meats are by far one of the best. I'm not marinating them ahead of time, so they're just going to cook right in here with everything, and once I add the sauce, it'll just basically absorb all the sauce. So I don't have to worry about it penetrating down to the meat or whatever. And if you prefer using a vegetarian or doing a vegetarian option, then again you can use tofu. I don't normally cook, well, I don't cook any vegetarian dishes at all, but that's an option. And instead of using oyster sauce, there might be a vegetarian version of an oyster sauce. So you're gonna have to do some legwork on that. And the great thing about using thinly sliced meat is that you don't have to worry about overcooking it. Because they're so thin, they're very soft because they're so marbleized, and it's still tasty. It's not dry or anything, or hard or whatever. As you see, the majority of the bok choy has already shrunk. Same thing with the onions. Gonna be a lot of food. This wok is completely filled. I haven't even added the noodles in yet. So with everything that's cooking now, it was just the olive oil in the beginning, the garlic, the onions, the bok choy, the meat. Nothing else has been added, and with all the veggies that were just put in here, it has generated a lot of water. This this actually goes right into the sauce as well, and this is the thing that will pretty much kind of give it a really great flavor overall. Can't really describe it honestly. It just works out so well. Okay, I think it's about time for the noodles. All right. That is a lot of noodles. Okay. So once the noodles go in, we're not going to mix it yet. We're actually going to be adding in the sauce. So we have the oyster sauce. Again, no measurements. I don't know exactly how much I'm putting in there. This has pretty much been based on experience, trial and error. And personal taste. So it's highly recommended to experiment, see what you like, to see if things need to be added. So hoisin sauce. Okay. And I'm using sweet soy sauce. And the reason why I use sweet soy sauce compared to regular soy sauce is because I'm looking for more of a sweeter taste. That's why I also use hoisin sauce, rather than a saltier taste with regular soy sauce. Okay. And once I got that going, I no longer use a spatula. I actually have to use two tongs. I'm not too concerned about breaking the noodles or anything. I just want to make sure everything is mixed. So we're just trying to basically get everything from the bottom to the top, and everything from the top to the bottom. And the water that's built up from all the veggies cooking earlier helps distribute the sauce pretty evenly throughout the entire dish. So once this is mixed, there's really not a spot where you can go without sauce. So this is enough to obviously feed a small army. And that small army will be pretty happy, I would think. One, because someone's cooking for them. And two, I would honestly believe that this is pretty good. Just lost an onion right now, but I'm not too concerned about that. In the future, I hope to get another silicone tong, just because I don't want the metal tongs damaging my pots and pans and stuff. Okay, so in the case if it's too salty, which it shouldn't be because you're adding Hoisin sauce and you're adding sweet soy sauce, you can always water it down a little bit, adding a little bit of water. If not, if it's too wet already, then you can add some sugar, and then that'll just kind of sweeten things up. But this is, as you see, pretty mixed, I would think. The bok choy has shrunken down quite significantly. Same thing with the onions. And a once completely full wok that couldn't fit anything else now fit all the noodle and stuff. Oh, lost the meat right there. Gotta clean that up later. Okay, so now it's just time to turn down the heat a little bit and then do a little quick taste test. Alright, here we go. Let's see how this turned out and see if I need to add anything. I think it actually turned out pretty well. That was a good eyeball in terms of measuring the sauce, and I think this is all set. So that's pretty much it. This is my 3 sauce noodle recipe, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. If you tried this yourself, again, leave a comment below. Let me know how it turned out, and until next time, thanks again for watching.